I want to be careful here because I want this to be real. The country needs its own data center. We've said it louder than anyone. A sovereign data center, built with our gas, owned by our people, earning for our treasury. That's not a fantasy. That's the future this nation should be fighting for. So understand, I'm not here to kill the dream. I'm here to ask one question. The only question that matters right now. Is this real? Is this the sovereign future we asked for? Or is this a grift wearing its clothes? Because here's what a real deal looks like. A real deal has an owner you can name. A builder with a track record you can check. A price you can benchmark. A contract you can read. Money you can trace to a balance sheet. Owner? Unknown. Track record? None on record. Costing? Unpublished. The contract? An MOU. Not the real thing. The money behind it? Undisclosed. 5 guardrails. Every single one of them. Missing. Now. Missing guardrails don't prove a crime. But ask yourself the honest question. When every protection that would stop a theft is gone at the same time, is that an accident or is that a design? We've seen what this same movement builds when the guardrails come down. We have it on audit. We have it on file. So we're allowed to ask out loud, without apology, is this our data center or is this our money? Walking out the door with AI printed on the box? I don't want it to be a grift, but wanting isn't the same as knowing. And they haven't given us a single thing to know. So we ask, and we keep asking, until they answer. Do me a favor. Pause this video. Open a search engine. Type in 3 words, Hummingbird AI Holdings. Go on. I'll wait. What did you find? A handful of identical press releases, all repeating the government's own words. And then, nothing. No website, no headquarters, no data center they've ever built, no investors, no track record of any kind. This is the company Trinidad and Tobago just signed a multi-billion-dollar deal with. 150 megawatt AI data center, expandable to 500, at real-world costs, a multi-billion-dollar undertaking, signed with a company that, as far as the public record is concerned, barely exists. We went looking, properly. Here is the complete list of what can be independently confirmed about Hummingbird AI Holdings. It's described as U.S.-based, Florida headquartered. It signed an MOU, 150 megawatts, expandable to 500, targeting 2028, sited at Debe. And that's it. That's the end of the list. Who owns it? Unknown. Who funds it? Unknown. What has it ever built? Nothing on record. Search Florida's registry and you get other companies with similar names, a facial recognition startup, a fintech firm, none of them this one. Holdings LLC is a legal wrapper. It sits above assets, and very often it keeps the real owners private. That's not automatically sinister. But when your government wants to route billions of dollars and hundreds of megawatts of subsidized national gas through that wrapper, you are entitled to know whose hand is on the other end. Right now, you are not permitted to know. That should chill you. There is exactly one human name attached to this deal. The government's own announcement lists the managing member as Mark Quasey Farrell. And let's be fair, his resume is genuinely dazzling. MIT at 16, Cambridge, a Harvard MBA, Bain, Fidelity, the youngest vice president in Starbucks history, founder of 10-to-1 Rum, a seat on the Massey Group board, a brilliant Trini, a real establishment figure. We say that without a drop of sarcasm. Now read that list again. Hunt for the one thing that actually matters here. Coffee, consulting, private equity, rum. Nowhere, nowhere, in that distinguished career is there a single data center, a single megawatt of power infrastructure, a single gigawatt scale build, any track record in AI hardware whatsoever. A rum founder fronting a half-gigawatt AI data center is not a resume, it is a red flag. Being named a managing member is not a crime. Talented people enter new industries all the time. But half a gigawatt of AI compute is not a craft rum launch. It needs billions in capital, specialist engineers, power utility deals, an industrial construction machine, none of which has been disclosed. So the one name we have only sharpens the question. If a rum and retail executive is the public face, whose money is actually behind it? And who actually builds the thing? Here's where it gets strange. We went looking for the political thread. A donor trail, a diaspora appointment, anything tying this company to the party in power. We found none. No advisory post, no contract history, no photograph. On the public record, the man at the center of this has no political relationship with this government at all. So how did an untraceable Florida holding company land a national infrastructure deal? The government's own release answers it, if you read the thank you note. It credits the government of the United States with facilitating the parties. The U.S. chargé d'affaires stood at the signing, beside the Prime Minister. This introduction didn't come up from a Trini constituency. It came down from Washington. This is not a deal we chased and won. It's a deal that was arranged for us and handed over. And notice the tell. Every official statement names the companies, but not a single human being behind Hummingbird. A government proud of who it's doing business with tells you their name. This one printed a press release about a multi-billion-dollar partner and left the who blank. We are not being paranoid. We are being historically literate. The last time a Kamla Persad Bisasar government sat in office, the People's Partnership, it produced one of the most brazen state-looting operations this country has ever documented. It was called LifeSport. And this isn't rumor. It's the Ministry of Finance's own Central Audit Committee. $440 million bled from a youth sport program. 59 companies, 104 individuals. A notarized statement alleged that phantom companies were set up specifically to siphon the money. Ghost centers, ghost participants, padded invoices, major theft of state funds. $34 million to one man. For numeracy work that was never delivered. The minister resigned. A decade later, the probe was shelved. Not one person held accountable. That is the template. Not a theory. An audited, documented method. Create companies that exist mainly on paper. Route public money through them. Deliver little or nothing. And count on the investigation dying of old age. So when the same political movement returns to power and immediately proposes to move billions through a company nobody can identify, the burden is not on us to prove wrongdoing. The burden is on them to prove this isn't life sport with more zeros. And here's why a data center is the perfect vehicle, better than LifeSport ever was. Almost nobody in this country can independently price one. A sport program people could eventually see was empty. A gigawatt-scale AI facility? The technical opacity is total. The padding hides in plain sight. Global benchmarks for an AI-grade build run 15 to 20 million US dollars per megawatt. So 150 megawatts is over $2 billion. 500 megawatts, up to 10 billion. Add the Ernst & Young facility, and the combined build runs to 12, 14, 16 billion dollars. Now set that beside the government's headline, $5 billion in potential investment, meant to cover all three deals. The real build cost of just the AI capacity runs to 2 or 3 times the entire announced figure. Either the projects are a fraction of what the megawatts imply, or the $5 billion is a soft, meaningless headline. Both are a problem, because both mean the real numbers are unfixed, and unfixed numbers are where money disappears. LifeSport hid a few $100 million behind ghost participants. A data center can hide a few billion behind a spec sheet no citizen can read. The mechanism is identical, only the decimal point has moved. Let no one twist this. We have argued harder than anyone for a data center, a sovereign, publicly owned one. Built with our gas, for our people. That is why this version enrages us. An untraceable foreign holding company, a subsidized national resource, a multi-billion-dollar build with no published costing, run by a government that has already shown the nation how it uses phantom companies. That is not the sovereign future we fought for. It's the old theft in a new suit. And the suit says artificial intelligence on the lapel. So, on the record. 1. Who owns Hummingbird AI Holdings, every beneficial owner? 2. What has it ever built? 3. Where is the money coming from? 4. Publish the full contract and the costing. 5. Independent procurement oversight. In advance, not 5 years too late. Trinbagonians paid for LifeSport and got ghosts. We will not pay for a data center and get the same ghosts. Wearing a lanyard. Name the owners, publish the numbers, or kill the deal. The citizens have questions, and this government has a track record.